Wait, here, hold on, let me.
Because
Yeah.
that
Fire up the record here too.
Oh, I gotta do this?
I roll.
What the? No, I don't need that.
We don't do a clap or anything?
We do.
Oh, we will.
We will do a
Hold
clap.
on, hold on here, hold
Get
on.
ahead of yourself, Flowerman. Just
I don't-
Flop, flop, flop,
you know.
flippity flop, beep bop doodly bow. Okay, there we go.
So I start
That's
recording
a-
now and then we clap later?
That's right.
All right, sure.
It's more effective that way. If you
Yeah,
clap before you record, there's really no record.
You don't
Yeah.
hear it. You don't hear it on the retail show that goes out, but we actually clap approximately 75 to 100 times per episode. CJ just edits those
True.
out.
Sweet.
True.
So,
We most
Gotta make sure that
everything
everything's
do it to
in
mess
sync.
with CJ.
yes.
Yeah.
Like the band.
Yeah.
That's right. Yes. Now we do a clap.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. 3, 2, 1.
It's terrible.
I felt like that was pretty
Really? Phil was like a minute late.
good. Other than Phil being
that
a minute
me?
late.
Oh, crap.
Yeah.
But it
my-
doesn't seem like you're lagged. You're answering really fast.
That's right.
Am I?
Did you guys ever
Am I?
try what I told you to do?
Did Phil count to 5? Phil, did you count to 5?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Let's do another clap just to.
So,
be
so
sure.
I,
Just to
is my, are my answers coming in late?
do another clap just to
No,
be sure.
they don't seem to be. But anyway,
3, 2, 1.
I mean, it feels right, but
Is that
I think it's just the distance.
fine.
It's kind of like how the speed of sound isn't as fast as the speed of light. So
how delayed am I?
it's like 2 seconds.
It's not
Really?
long. It's
Really?
not too bad.
Ask.
It's just long
Ask-
enough to be noticeable. That's all.
Yeah. In the
Really?
video feed.
In the video, yeah.
Yeah. It's fine otherwise.
Yeah. I
So
think
just
it's
on the
fair.
video feed?
Well,
Yeah.
now it seems worse.
Wait, does it?
All right.
Well, if he's
Hello
pretending
and welcome to episode 432 of the Player One podcast for Tuesday, February 17th, 2015. I'm your host, Chris Johnston. With me, as always, and lagged to hell, Mr.
Oh, for
Phil Theobald.
fuck's sake. Am I going to have to listen to this bitching
That's
from
right.
you?
Yeah.
See, CJ already started being a jerk. Please shut up.
That's right.
Little did you know.
Little
did you know I
you
had-
were lagged
I-
when I invited you to the hangout and then joined 15 minutes later.
Well, that's what happened. I had just signed on to AOL, and then the lag put me through.
Be doom, be doom.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, if I
Those
keep,
are
if I keep lagging, I'm out. If I keep lagging, I'm
Joining us.
bailing like Mike.
From underneath 5 feet of snow in the frozen north, Mr. Greg Seward.
I wish it was only 5 feet of snow. That's like summer.
How bad is it up there?
Actually, it's a little less than 5 feet. No, it's just a lot of like every other day a snowstorm, and it's just all freezing, so it's kind of crappy.
Hey,
Yeah.
Hey, Greg.
2 weeks now. Yeah.
What did I hear about Halifax the other day? With like they were
Oh,
someone was going to shoot it up or something.
Planned Valentine's Day massacre.
Yeah.
Yeah, that got
A little
canceled.
scary. Yeah, they
That's
canceled
too
it. Yeah.
bad. Hopefully. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
People from, apparently
did
Illinois connection.
really.
Mm-hmm. One of the
Let's hear it
women,
for,
women in custody is from Illinois.
Land of Lincoln,
Illinois.
hometown girl.
That's right.
Do we know from where in Illinois?
They've been saying the name of the town all over the place, and it escapes me right now.
Cave in Rock.
Berwyn.
Leverton or something like that, or
Leverton.
yeah, that's not right.
Mm.
I think it has an L
Pawnee.
in it. Anyway, I love it. Finn is. Oh my God, Finn! Say something, Phil, because Finn looks adorable right behind you.
Hello, Finn. How you doing, buddy? Oh.
That's hilarious. He's studying.
He
Yeah.
just Finn just woke
see,
up
now
from
we-
his
now
nap.
Now we've invited him in.
Yeah, we've awoken the beast.
Yeah.
He's lethargic. How you doing, buddy?
Tell him he's in the
no
way of
answer.
Wi-Fi.
Yeah. Well, Mr. Mike Phillips not with us this week. In his place, we also have a man who's buried under snow from thatsportsgamer.com and the Press Row podcast, Mr. TJ Lauerman.
Guys, I'm so happy to be invited to the Press Row podcast. What is this show? The Player One podcast. Too many P's in all these shows. 40th anniversary special. I see Bill Murray over here, Greg the Actor Ford, and Eddie Murphy. It's great. I was expecting this place to be a little bigger and a little more packed, but I'm happy to be here.
Right. Kanye West is the musical act coming
It's
up
going to be great.
a little later.
CJ called him up.
That's
He's got
right.
connections
Yeah,
with him.
My
Old
buddy.
school from that four-year-old birthday party.
Yeah.
That's right. All right, welcome, TJ. Thank
Thank you
you.
guys for having me. I played some
Very
games
nice.
especially for this show.
Excellent.
Weird.
None of us did, so
Yeah, so you're carrying the whole show.
That's
Yeah.
what I'm here for.
somebody did. If you've played King Kong, the game of the movie, then you'll be fine.
I'm not playing that anymore.
Peter Jackson's King Kong, the official
Oh,
game of the movie.
sorry.
They paid for that title. You're damn well going to use it.
I guess so. Hey, should we talk about the new Nintendo 3DS?
I've heard of it.
Came out
I
Friday.
held a box in my hands on Friday
You did.
and
Oh, look.
said, "No, sir."
Look at that. That is a shine right there. Look at it.
You got that custom case with Phil's face on it?
No, that's just the finish on it. It's like super glossy.
It is. It's true.
I'm going to do this
a
the
nice
whole. Let's
3DS
see how long
right
I can
there.
hold this
Hey.
up.
Hey there. Hey there, everybody.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got me
I
into
got the black
3DS.
one. I got the black one right here.
Oh, CJ went black and he
Yeah.
never went back.
Wow. Now, is yours as reflective?
Let's see.
It's got a lot of stains
keep,
on
keep
it.
talking. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, hey, how's you doing? How you doing
Oh.
today, everybody?
Nice. Very nice.
Don't worry, guys.
Yes.
You can save money
Oh.
and get the 2DS, and it does
Oh,
the
look at
exact
that.
same thing.
Look at
I like
that right
that.
there.
I got two screens where you can see it.
This
on.
is terrible radio. by the
Wow.
way. Nobody knows what
It
we're
is.
even talking
It is
about.
terrible radio. Yeah. So yeah, the Nintendo new 3DS came out on Friday. Two of us bought one.
Mm-hmm. Actually, two of us bought two. Really,
of us
we
bought
each
two.
bought one. Yeah.
I guess you're right. And had to go through the transfer process for this thing.
It's as simple as 1, 2, 3, 4,
Do you need a
5,
screwdriver?
6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
The screwdriver part was the worst part for me.
The screwdriver was
say.
well. That's because you don't own a tool set because you're not a man.
No, I had the screwdriver.
Uh-huh.
There was no problem with that. I had the right tools.
So wait, did you really have to? Did you really have to
got the
copy
right
the
tools
files
for a
off
job.
to a computer and then copy them to the other SD card?
Uh,
That's
Yeah.
what I did. Yeah, you don't have to, but if you want the
you
transfer
get to-
process to take
not take
less
10
than
years?
10 hours,
Mm.
you will do that beforehand.
I think there's a failure in that. Whoever made up that idea to make it work like
man, look.
Yeah, they're a huge failure.
Yeah.
And the transfer process, even though I knew what it was, I have transferred data from a 3DS before, and I knew what it was. I still had to reread the questions that the process was asking me over again just to make sure that I got it right. I think one of them is, do you have an SD card or micro SD card?
Or mini
in the
SD
system
card.
or whatever. Any SD card in the system, answer yes or no. But if you have a micro SD card, answer no.
Yeah. It's just it's a really convoluted process is the problem. Because the way that CJ and I both did it is we both bought micro SD cards beforehand and just copied everything over.
Right.
So you just left that in your original. There's mine. Look, it came with a cool little adapter.
Ooh.
Mine did
SD.
too. Yeah.
So you just I just copied everything over to that through the PC, and then I was using that in my old 3DS XL. So then, yeah, when I got the new one, you had to turn on both systems. You have to connect both to the internet. And my favorite part of it at first was like, let the target system control the transfer. You need to answer like 3 questions on that system, and then it pushes you over to the other system. You need to answer like 3 questions on that system. You just be going back and forth between these 2 systems until you get to the infamous.
Do you have anything stored on the system memory? If you choose no, then these things will be erased.
Yeah,
it's like okay. I mean, have games on there.
I guess the upside of it is that they kind of made it idiot-proof because CJ and I were able to do it. But no, because they ask so many questions and they explain every tiny little step along the way, which is good. But it just makes it such a long, drawn-out process for what seems like it should be really simple. Like,
yes.
And if you just had a unified username system, you could just say, "Oh, it's you. Here's all your stuff. Download."
Yeah. Would you like to authorize this new system? Yes. All right, put in the new card. Done.
Yeah.
I'm really happy that now the PlayStation ecosystem has solved my never playing my 2DS anymore. Because now I have Tetris on my PS4 and I have Shovel Knight coming to the Vita at some point. My 2DS has been kind of useless now.
But how will you play Majora's Mask?
I go back 15 years and not play it like I did the first time.
In 2 dimensions.
Oh my goodness!
Second.
So let's talk about the screwdriver for a second.
Here. Oh boy!
Get away from the screwdriver.
So you're supposed to unscrew the back. There are 2 screws. It's not just 1 screw. 2 screws.
Yes, it's double the work. There you go.
These
2 screws.
Yeah, the screws do not actually come out of the system.
Nope, which is good.
Wow.
That's a good thing.
Good. Yeah,
although it's weird
fine.
at first because you're kind of waiting for them to come out.
Then you have to use the ass end of the stylus or a fingernail if you want to rip your fingernails off.
I just dropped on the floor. As a pry bar.
As a pry bar, exactly. To get some leverage underneath the top edges of the system and click the back off. And the back of my new 3DS would not come off so easily. So I had some problems. But I was after about 10 minutes able to get it off.
I mean, the key thing for me, because if there's been the standard, you big babies complaining about this stuff, but it really is like actually I think it was Hacker Alias Levity NYC, one of our listeners was saying like the people who are complaining about this obviously don't have children. They've never bought toys where they needed a screwdriver to put batteries in and stuff.
Right.
I've put together tons of children's toys and had to unscrew battery caps. This is not the same thing because when you unscrew these things, you kind of expect that like maybe you just sort of slide the backing down, or it should pop off somehow, and it doesn't. And it's just like, okay, there's these little notches here, and yes, I didn't read the instructions, so I will admit that there's these little notches on the side, so I'll just pull up on those. Well, they don't really seem to be giving,
right?
And I don't want to break this thing. So then you go look at the instructions, and it's like yes, and it literally tells you to use your stylus as a pry bar.
That's right.
Huh.
And it says not to use a fingernail.
Yeah. So anyway, then it pops off, and I hope I never have to do that again.
Yeah, same here. I have put a 64 gig card in my new 3DS, so hopefully I will never have to do that again.
Oh my god, did that cost you like $150, $200 to do that?
$30.
No, it's not a Vita. It's not a Vita.
if only the Vita had used like standardized storage, that would have been nice, right? $30 for micro SD.
Amazing.
Sony was thinking of something else.
Yeah, but
sore fingertips.
Yeah.
Yes.
In the next Vita, they're going to put a pry bar on on every slot on that thing, right? No.
Yeah.
No one's going to do that. But anyway, so impressions of the new 3DS. What do you think there, Greg?
I mean, it's as far as dimensions go, it's exactly the same as the 3DS XL. I really, I think the buttons feel pretty clicky, and I really love the head tracking for 3D. It's like a total game changer because I enjoy playing all my games in 3D. I always try to on the 3DS, and it's a pain in the ass. And I always found that the XL was actually a little bit more sensitive than the old 3DS, the original 3DS, as far as the range you had for the 3D. And so with this head tracking stuff, it's great because I mean you can move the system pretty significantly and not lose the effect.
Yeah.
And not get the double vision happening. The only thing that I've noticed is that I was actually playing for a while in front of like a fairly bright window, and it lost me for a second, and so it kind of went a little haywire.
Yeah.
But otherwise, and the nice thing too is it's not, and I was curious about this, and I hadn't really followed up on it since they first announced it, but it's not just lateral movement; it's actually tilting back and forth, and you still keep your 3D effect for quite a distance in every direction.
You do.
Yeah. Are we having technical difficulties? There's a chat going on while I'm talking. It's kind of distracting. Did TJ just about burn his house down, or
Yeah, slightly, but we're all good right now.
just slightly burned it down?
Well, I don't know if you know. Well, I mean, for the people watching at home, they may have just saw my light flicker, and then I looked at it, and then there was like a flame inside the light bulb.
Wow.
It's like a Flintstones light.
So I just went and threw that out in the snow, and
Yeah.
My lag doesn't seem so bad now, does it?
anything for Player One podcast.
Thankfully, everything worked out. You're safe.
And so, as far as the 3DS goes, the little C-stick nubbin is okay, but it's not great.
And it doesn't
the
move, right?
nubbin. I like the nubbin.
Yeah?
I have found, like, reading threads on GAF about the new 3DS, it seems like people want that thing to move like a stick would.
Well,
like
I do.
The circle pad, and it doesn't. It's a nubbin that, like, barely moves, right?
By definition, it wouldn't move like a circle pad. It's a nubbin.
Hey, CJ?
They call it a C-stick on the box, though. Right? Do you think that the use of the term C-stick means that, it's a joystick that should move?
Yes.
C-nubbin?
Yeah. The C-nub.
Yeah.
No, I didn't expect it to be great. I'm not crazy about it at all, that's all.
Sure. Well, in Majora, anyway, it's just doing the task of the Circle Pad Pro. It's not like they made that for...
Yeah. Oh, and that's the other thing that I meant to mention about the whole tracking your head while you're using 3D. It turns anything that you use gyro controls for, it actually makes it playable while you're in 3D.
Yes.
Because that was so terrible on the old system, right? Like, it's like, it says gyro, like for Zelda, where, anytime you have to aim, you can move the system. Well, if you're playing in 3D on the old systems, sure, you can move the system. You can't see anything if you're playing in 3D, but now you actually can. It's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
I think the screen looks more vibrant than the old XL.
Could be.
But I'm not so impressed by the auto brightness adjustment.
Yeah, what's the deal with that? So there is an auto brightness.
There is, yeah.
How do you turn that off?
Turn it off. Just go up to the top. I think it's top left in the dashboard. That has all the theme settings. Just scroll down and you can turn auto brightness off.
Because it was, today while I was playing Majora's Mask, it went really dark, and for a second I thought it was because the time had changed in the game, but no, it was the screen was just dimming for some reason.
Yeah, I think, with the old 3DS, I barely played anything in 3D because, I would lose the effect, or I would want to use the gyro controls and lose the effect. So, I mean, this is a huge improvement. Huge improvement.
Yeah, totally.
For sure. And then the system itself is faster. Loading up Miiverse is significantly faster. Loading up games is faster. It's switching games is faster. It's great.
Somewhere along the line, in the last year, the 3DS got really, really, really slow when you hit the home key.
Yeah.
And I don't know why, but yes, I don't notice that anymore.
Yeah. And Smash Brothers is one of the examples Nintendo themselves trotted out between the old and new. It loads half. It cuts the load time by 50% or 75%, something like that. It's significant. So there you go. And I'm playing Majora's Mask on it. We'll talk about that a little bit later.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we should talk a little bit about the PlayStation TV because Amazon had it on a lightning deal. Late
Yeah,
last
I got
week,
one.
and I did too.
For how much?
During those 3-4 seconds it was available. Mine was $50. I got the bundle with the thing, the controller.
And the Lego Movie game. Mine was $40.
Yes.
Did not come with that. So
Good seems like a good price for it. Yeah.
yeah. Although I know people were
Have you-
bagging on the 3DS not coming with a power adapter, but if you get the plain vanilla PlayStation TV, it doesn't come with anything to control the system with. And I find that funny.
That's why they have a controller bundle.
That's why they have that. Yeah, but if they expected somebody who's not already in the PlayStation ecosystem to buy one, then
They expect them to buy the controller bundle.
they would. That's true.
This is,
Have you
you're doing a terrible
hooked
job
it up?
of being angry about this, CJ.
I did not hook it up yet. Have you?
Yeah, I got to do a little rearranging to find some room for it on my entertainment center.
Yeah. Cool.
Because yeah,
I'm probably just gonna swap.
because it takes
my,
up so much room, CJ. Because
my
it takes up
Vita-
so much room.
Vita memory card into the PlayStation TV and play some stuff on that.
You
Yeah.
sound excited.
There it is.
I've never seen you this excited.
There it is.
I'm more excited about Majora's Mask, but anyway.
Well, that's shiny too.
Yeah, I
Really?
know, right?
So distracted by shiny things tonight.
Yeah.
All right, should we talk about Peter Molyneux?
Molyneux.
Pathological liar.
Oh man, yeah. So I'm interested. I didn't know if anyone read this. I sat down and read through it today. It's quite a bit longer. So it was an interview done by, well, the one that I read was done by Rock Paper Shotgun.
Yes.
Right.
That's correct.
It was extremely antagonistic.
Oh yeah, just a little.
Yeah.
Slightly.
So
How do you feel about that?
I'm interested in what CJ thinks of the interviewing technique because he interviewed a lot of folks in his day.
I did. I thought it
Mhm.
came off very poorly. I mean, I don't know. Once you've been in the game industry for a while, you know that games take a long ass time to make, and I don't know. I think part of the reason why this has gotten so out of control is that it's a Kickstarter project, right?
Yeah.
And-
That's the big problem with Kickstarter.
People are using Kickstarter, or they think of Kickstarter as a pre-purchase platform when really it's crowdfunding. And yes, you get a copy of the game at the end, but if you were in game funding and a game takes 3 years to make, that's not completely out of the realm of possibility,
Yeah, I like, as far as the interview goes, I think I want the press to hold developers' feet to the fire. No question. And I think in the case of a crowdfunded game where you haven't come through yet, to be fair, with what you promised, you should have to answer tough questions.
Sure.
But I don't get the thinking behind starting an interview with the question, "Are you a pathological liar?" A because you put your subject already
On
in an agitated
blast.
state, and B, if he is, he's not going to tell you the truth.
Right. Well, I think we can agree that 22 Cans has not used the Kickstarter money to hire a PR or marketing handler.
Yeah. Yeah. It's an interesting interview, though, because it points out, I think, a lot of issues that, for both sides of the Kickstarter equation, because, I mean, Peter Molyneux makes a good point in the interview where he says, like, the weirdness around Kickstarter is that if you come up 1 penny short
Right.
of your goal, you don't get anything. So, yes, you underestimate what you need. Whether you believe those estimates or not, you go for what you think you can get. And I've heard
That's
more
right.
than one Kickstarter campaign, people running Kickstarter campaigns say that. It's like, well,
Yeah.
we really needed 200,000, but we went for 100,000 because we thought that's what we could get. But you're not going to say in your Kickstarter campaign, this will pay for half of the game. Like,
No,
is
because
that
no
all
one will,
right?
no one
Yeah.
will, no one will give you money if you say that this isn't going to pay for the whole thing.
Right, exactly. So I mean, I sympathize with that. I also think that, and I forget the name of the guy who did the interview, and I don't know his stuff, and I don't know his history. He makes mention that he's been to a lot of game developers, so he understands the development process. In the interview, he really came off like he didn't, because when you're
Yeah.
calling someone out for features being cut and saying, well, that makes you a liar. No, that's game
Right.
development. I've
Exactly.
I've been involved in over a dozen games, and I've never ever seen a game ship with every feature that was in the original design. Never once.
Yeah. It's also extremely rare for a game to deliver on time and on budget.
Absolutely, and he's like,
It
Peter
almost never
Molyneux's-
happens.
And again, I mean, those are questions that a developer should be able to answer, and Peter Molyneux does have a long history of overpromising and underdelivering. I mean, that's Peter Molyneux, right? Like, that's what he does.
Well, the
But-
other thing, the comment I thought that was very interesting is the interviewer seems to think that because Peter has been around for 30 years, that he should know how much a game
That's
costs to make,
ridiculous too.
which is a ridiculous statement because every project is different.
Not to, yeah.
Unless you're doing the exact same type of game for those 30 years, then it's extremely hard to forecast that.
Well, and again, Molyneux made a really good point in the interview where it's like, I think he said I just had a house built or just had renovations done, and they told me it was going to take this long and cost this much, and hey, it took longer and it cost more, and I just had a recent experience myself when we renovated our place, exact same thing, right? And that's a much simpler process than the creative process.
Did you call the contractor a liar?
Are you a pathological liar?
That's the first question you got to ask any contractor when you call them.
That's right.
Yeah, and I mean, he's not the only one that's done this. I mean, you look at Star Citizen. They're behind schedule, and they've raised tons of money past what they asked for on Kickstarter. But they've also been very open, honest about what's going on with that game. So you let it go. But then you look at also Double Fine. I mean, how long ago was that game supposed to be done and released? And we've gotten the first half, and then they ran out of money, and they admitted they ran out of money. But it's the same thing. You ask what you think you can get. It's the same thing more internally if you're working for a publisher. CJ, you'll have experience with this, and you will too, Phil. Like, when you pitch something, you shoot for the sky. You aim for what you think you can hit in a perfect world, but you almost never will.
Right.
That's
But you-
true. And one of the things the interviewer seems to think that a publisher's role is only about funding. And for some that might be true, but a publisher in general is also going to handle your marketing and PR, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So does the amount that was kickstarted, is that expected to, take all the development costs and any PR and marketing that has to be done after that? Like,
Right.
it's kind of unreal how poorly a grasp the interviewer seems to actually have on the game development process.
And that, to me, was always the big issue with Kickstarter from a development standpoint, because you're asking people who have no idea what the development process really is,
Right.
to pay for something up front. And you're right, that's exactly how they treat it, like a pre-order.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's so much more than that, and you're taking a huge risk. And I mean, people have had that happen to them, and they've lost their taste for it, and I don't blame them. But I mean, that's the way the creative process works.
It's more that, I really want to see this game concept made. Here's money. Please make it. And in good faith, expecting something in return later. But you have to think. I mean, so many games get delayed, get canceled. Like there are a lot of games that we don't even hear about or aren't announced at E3 that go through an entire development cycle and get canceled. You know,
Sure.
it's kind of amazing.
But how many games are supposed to change one person's life forever?
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was brutal. I was reading the interview and he was talking about that guy. I'm like, wait, what the hell happened? Did this guy, like, is this guy dying or something?
Right.
And then I went and looked him up. It's like, oh, he's supposed to be in the game. Okay, that's...
And he was supposed
Sure.
to get he's supposed to get like some percent of the revenue from.
Is that what it is?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And he had
Yeah.
when they put the multiplayer in, which was supposed to be in like 3 years ago, and might be in this year. He was supposed to be like in charge of all the stuff that can happen, like change the weather and things, I guess. Which, I mean, that sounds exhilarating. But I like that. I think it was on it was a Eurogamer interview with the kid that won Curiosity, which was a great game because you just tapped, and many more mobile games have picked up on that recently. Yeah,
Tap Titans.
I was pretty impressed that the kid really doesn't care, but he knows his mom is going to be very angry if this never comes to pass.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, it's worth going to read just to see so many people doing so many things wrong.
Yeah.
It's a terrible interview.
It is a
interview
terrible
style
interview.
is terrible.
I also do think that this is just like pent up aggression against Peter Molyneux.
Absolutely. And I'm not saying he doesn't deserve it. I mean, like he's not followed through on a lot of things he said over the last 30 years. But that really wasn't the way to do it. I mean, the interviewer went in with an agenda, and the agenda was to smear him and to back him into a corner and get him as angry as possible. And it was gross to see happen, really.
Yeah.
Genuine.
Was this interviewer a backer on Kickstarter?
I wonder.
How much did he put in to that game? You know, I mean, I've backed 7 game Kickstarter projects, and only one of them is actually
I was gonna say, how many of them have actually shipped on time?
one.
Same
And
here.
so the interviewer sort of acts like this is a rare case, like this.
See, and that's
This,
it, right? Again, holding the
something-
developers' feet to the fires is noble, but
Sure.
you know, there's a lot of people out there that have not followed through on their Kickstarter promises.
But I got my Reading Rainbow bookmarks, so I'm really excited about that.
Ooh.
Oh.
Yes. All right, is that all we have to say about that?
Support people on Patreon, not Kickstarter,
Yeah.
because then you
Yeah.
can stop supporting them.
That's right.
It's true though. I mean, that's a much better setup. But I mean, if you're doing things episodically,
Yeah. Not gonna work for games, I don't think.
no.
No. All right, let's talk about what we've been playing. What do you think about that?
Okay.
Got us.
Okay.
And TJ, since you are the guest, you get to go first. And you almost burnt your house down, so
Yeah, you earned it. You've earned this.
Well, I DM'd Seward a couple days ago, and I was like, I'm playing lots of games so that I can come back on the show and talk about non-sports games. So I've been playing some mobile game. Sadly, no Adult Swim ones because I love it too much. So I wanted to change it up a little bit. I don't know if you guys have played Peggle Blast.
Oh
That
god.
thing is amazing.
We're gonna get so yelled at for this episode.
You know why? Because I used to play Peggle, but I don't have an Xbox console anymore, so I don't have a Peggle on my PS4 yet. I'm still waiting for that Peggle 2. One
came
day,
out.
probably. Did it?
There's a Peggle's on PS4.
Well, guess what?
In December.
Who cares?
Yeah.
You know what? I didn't get it for free with PlayStation Plus, but I got Peggle Blast for free on my phone. That's great, and I won't bother you guys with Facebook things to get free lives, because when I die, I just put the phone down, and then I'm done.
Yes.
And then, after Apple came out with their big pay once and play, even though I'm not on Apple, I have an Android, I went back and played 10 Million again, because I tried to play...
Yeah.
I tried to play the Puzzle and Dragons, because I guess that was the kind of game I was looking for, with the making the little thingies and the little jewels and stuff. And then I realized I couldn't mute the game, or there were no volume controls anywhere in it that I could find. And I'm not going to play a mobile game that I can't listen to a podcast in while I'm playing.
Yeah.
So I got
yeah.
uninstalled, and then I was like, hey, 10 Million was a really good game. I'm going to go get that and play that again. So those are, if you have a mobile device, those are both great games to go check out.
Yeah, 10 million is great.
I I think I beat 10 million on a flight once, and then there was like 4 hours left in the flight, and I was like, God damn, now what?
Then you set a goal to get 20 million. A little
No,
personal goal.
I think after that I started playing flight control, and then I realized, wait, I'm on a plane. I don't want the real plane to crash, or these digital. And then I think
Flight control. What is this? 2009?
Hey,
I was gonna say this is like all the latest and greatest mobile apps here.
but those weren't the whole way. So
TJ, when it says flight control, I don't think it's actually giving you control of the flight.
Oh
no, it's that Bluetooth LE, I believe.
I'm pretty sure the pilot's still in charge. This is all post 9/11 security things that they've. They no longer let.
Up until then, they let you take control.
Take control. Yeah.
Now I have to turn off my Bluetooth and take off my shoes. But, right.
It's a security thing. Yeah.
Right.
And then sports games. Lots and lots of sports games.
So next two mobile games and then sports games. Is that?
Yeah. Oh, and
just so you know, TJ lobbying hard for this role this week.
Yeah. I've been playing that. Was it Tetris Blitz? What is this PlayStation Tetris game called? Because it's great and it's awful at the same time. I love it because it's Tetris, but it is a janky...
Well, it's not Tetris Attack, because that's just great.
It's a janky piece of crap on the PS4 because you'll get going and then it's like lag in an offline game, and you can't really play online, and it's kind of a mess. Have you guys tried playing this? I think it has that same Ubisoft problem where if you have more than 100 friends on it, 100 people on your friends list, it just breaks all the time.
I'm still generally of the opinion that every version of Tetris that's come out since the Game Boy version has been lesser.
Well, that's why I have a 2DS, so I can play the Game Boy version.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, except when Nintendo did Tetris DS, that is a really, really good version of Tetris.
Tetris DS is very good. Tetris DS is very good.
I want to play those Japanese crazy Tetris multiplayer games, but
the Grandmaster,
all that stuff. When I can be like little weird guys. What was that?
There's that one that's like a.
That came out?
There's something that's like a mixture of Tetris and Puyo Puyo.
Yeah.
That's insane.
I want to play that.
Tetris cross Puyo Puyo.
But I think it's only in Japan.
Like
and you can only get it physically. And then I think Giant Bomb did a quick look of it, so now, like with back in my play, all the prices go skyrocketing, so you can't get a copy anymore. It's pretty sweet. Thanks, podcasts.
Yeah. Seriously.
Yeah, go
Is
play
that
Peggle.
it?
Go
Is
play
that
Peggle.
really it?
10 million! You know how many games that is? Like 10 million.
Yes.
I feel like I was playing something else that I really hated because it was bothering me with microtransactions.
Peter Jackson's King Kong, the official game of the movie?
I don't think that had microtransactions.
Did you finished that, though?
I did. I even got the alternate ending.
Oh, really?
Godzilla wins? Or King Kong wins?
Absolutely, Godzilla wins. The alternate ending is that Godzilla wins.
Godzilla shows up.
Is that where Michel Ancel comes on the screen and apologizes?
No, there's an alternate ending that you can unlock if you get a certain score.
Kong comes out and tells you that you are now the god of the game, and you will be getting a certain percentage of all the income that this game makes.
It's actually you just find out that the whole story was in the actor's head.
Did you guys hear that The Simpsons has all been in Homer's head while he's been in a coma for the last 22 years?
Well, I don't know if you've heard this.
I did see
I don't know if you've heard this, but you know that show, that cartoon or that video game that you loved back when you were a kid, probably in the 90s? It turns out that the whole thing was just a hallucination because the main character was in a coma or just about to die or had some traumatic experience. But yeah, that it's all
right?
That's the story of
everything.
That's actually the backstory of Hermie Hopperhead, I believe.
Yeah. I've seen that.
Bubsy 3D.
It's been brought up for like. I've seen it for Pokemon.
What?
I think I've seen it for like and Hey Arnold and all sorts of crap like that.
Mohawk and headphone.
Everyone
jack.
loves the
Mohawk and headphone.
I mean, that makes a lot of sense. Thinking that one of my favorite shows was Doug, so I can see it.
Yeah, Doug.
Because
Doug.
Quail Man doesn't work in real life.
Exactly. Exactly.
Also, Fido Dido. Love that guy.
Dido.
Dido.
Was it Elo Milo?
Is it? I don't know.
Thought it was Rude Dog and the Dweebs.
There you go. Thought it was
Yeah.
Normie's Beach Baberama. Yeah.
Sorry. Phil.
What's this about Beverly Hills Teens?
Hey, Phil.
Yeah.
Guess what I got to build this weekend?
I don't know.
Spaceship, spaceship, spaceship.
Oh, lucky you.
My son got it for his
Lucky
birthday,
you.
and he let me help him
Your
build it.
son.
No, I didn't buy it.
Got
It came
it.
from his grandparents. And he let me help him build it.
Yeah.
And it was awesome.
Does this turn into
Fantastic.
points of articulation?
It's
Suddenly?
a. I'm
Yes.
I just noticed it sitting over there, and I wanted to tell Phil because I knew he would appreciate it.
That's fantastic. You do have something to look forward to. Just the other day I picked up this new Transformer came out recently.
Welcome to Toy Corner on the Player One podcast.
Actually, this what is it? It's a toy fair. Toy fair is going on this week in New York.
That Devastator looks $150 good.
Word. Hey, you know who's a dick? You know who's a dick?
Who?
Not Devastator, even though he does have testicles. TJ Lowerman. For those who can't see our little group chat, TJ, he's hilarious. Don't get me wrong. Hey, Greg.
Yeah.
Greg, what are you gonna be? What do you have to build this week?
I didn't see what he said.
He doesn't read the chat. It's cool. That's why it's good.
Yeah.
That's
Ah.
why it's super funny.
A resume, Greg. You have a resume to build.
What a jackass.
I'm just the messenger on that one, buddy.
Oh, guys. So why don't you
So,
guys play-
welcome to TJ Lauerman's final appearance on the Player One podcast.
Yeah, can we talk about real good games like MOBAs?
Well, I was talking about King Kong.
That's not a MOBA. Let's talk about League of Legends.
You didn't want to hear what the alternate ending was? It was great.
Does they end up in the Shire? Because I remember some other Peter
No,
Jackson
Kong
movies that had a lot of
That would be better.
alternate endings.
Nobody wins because
Kong
he
wins in the alternate
because
ending,
the
right?
Jack or whatever his name flies a biplane and shoots down all the military planes.
I thought at the end she let go and Jack sunk to the bottom.
Awesome. No, you're thinking of a different. You're thinking of a different King Kong. That was the sequel.
Oh, that was not Peter Jackson. I don't
Yeah.
believe.
That was King Kong 75.
Yeah. Otherwise, I really been mostly playing Majora's Mask.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been playing
What was your opinion of Majora's Mask going into this thing?
I barely remember it. I didn't play through it back in the day. I just didn't. I don't know what it was. Me and Zelda games back then. I never played through Ocarina of Time either. So I had them both, but I didn't really play them very much. I wasn't an N64 guy.
Because Zelda 2 was the best one in the series, so I don't know why you would keep going after that.
No.
It's a fact.
It's a weird
It's on the
show.
internet. I tweeted it, so it must be true. I'm not a
Weird.
pathological liar like Peter Molyneux.
How long have you been a pathological?
Have you stopped beating your wife, Mr. Molyneux?
Okay,
This
so
opportunity to not talk about Milo in that interview, by the way. Anyway,
Yeah, really.
Majora's Mask.
Ah,
Is it on rails? Did you have to sign something to say it's not on rails?
It's on the whiteboard in the back.
Right.
Yeah, no, I didn't have much of a memory of Majora's. I just remember it being weird.
yeah, I didn't play much of it at all back in the day. Although my wife loves it. She's played
yeah?
through it a couple times. Yeah.
It's cool in that it was like it was such a departure atmospherically from any Zelda game. Like it's so dark and kind of twisted in a way. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
It's really cool in that regard. And having a gigantic moon staring down at you the whole time is a little disconcerting.
A little weird. It's interesting to have time pressures as you're
Yeah.
playing a Zelda game. A game with no time pressure, to suddenly have to think about when is the best time to restart the cycle and what things you're going to be losing when you have to do that, and what you might have to do over again. It's an interesting way to play, for sure.
And I loved Game Trailers actually did a retrospective on the original, and they were pointing out like little things like you work really hard to do these mini quests, and like there's this one group, I think these two people that you reunite after one of them's cursed and becomes a child, and it's like you go through all this work, you jump through all these hoops to reunite them, and you have this great moment where they're happy again and everything's great. But then of course you have to reset the clock.
Right.
So you kind of get this pang of sorrow when you see this kid walking around moping again because he's been cursed and can't be, with the love of his life and all that. It was kind of neat. It was a cool retrospective. But yeah, I mean, I'm playing. I'm just trying to get into the first dungeon right now, of which there are only 4.
Yes.
So
I just finished the first one.
Oh, did you? So you're further than I am. I feel I'm trying to plant a seed into soft earth so I can gain access to the monkey cage.
Yeah.
You just said that sentence, and I never am going to play this game now. I'm going to plant a seed into soft earth.
Water to gain access to the monkey cage. Like you do.
What? And that's how King Kong gets born.
And that's how King Kong is born.
Oh, clearly.
And then he wins when Godzilla shows up.
It's a good game.
Best game ever.
I really like the notebook that they put all the side quests in. Like, as you meet people that are giving you side quests, it gives you that nice...
Was that in the original game?
I think there was a version of it, but not as it is in the 3DS version.
Okay.
Yeah. And then they have that little stone cave thing, that rock at the beginning that gives you hints.
Mm-hmm.
Have you used that at all?
No, because I'm not a pansy.
It's great though. It's really good.
This is why CJ's already finished the first dungeon.
That's right. Certainly, it's I went back to Ocarina of Time a couple months ago, and it has the same feature. And you go in there, and it sort of tells you what you've already done, and then gives you hints for the thing that you should be doing next.
Sheikah stones, I think they're called, right?
Yeah, and it's super helpful in terms of if you want to take a long break from something, as I sometimes do, and then come back to it.
Just like me with King Kong.
Exactly.
10 years for that 6-hour game.
That's right. Yeah, I like the C-stick. I like the gyro targeting, all that stuff. It's great. I like this game a lot.
Yeah, I mean, my only worry about it is that I started play. I kind of had decided that I wasn't going to get it, just because like Ocarina of Time came out last year, and I'm just afraid that I'm gonna get burnt out because I mean this game is outside of its setting, it is so similar, right? I mean, not only does it play exactly.
Ocarina of Time did not come out last year.
Well, I only played through it last year then. It was recent.
It came out in 2011.
Player One's 2011 game of 2014.
Did it really?
Yeah.
Ocarina of Time 3D
didn't. No, it
came out in
didn't.
2011.
Why? No. How did I only just play through it then?
How did you only just play Peter Jackson?
You are old.
Oh my god.
You are old. June 16th, Greg.
The second I had
2011.
its time just sped up.
You have to play the Song of Time, and then it will rewind.
All right. Well, what I'm getting at is I guess I must have only played it last year.
Okay.
I did only play through it recently, so this game is so similar that I didn't want to, I don't want to suffer any burnout. Because I mean, this game was made with a lot of the exact same assets too. Like a lot of the music's the same, a lot of the characters are actually the same, and the animation and all that stuff. So I was a little worried that, and I am a little worried that I'm going to suffer a little bit of burnout playing that game from 2011 so recently.
Yeah.
Wow, I can't believe it's been that long.
You should go read the Iwata Asks on Majora's Mask that they put up very recently. It's pretty interesting. Where I guess they made Majora's Mask in a year.
In a year, yeah. It was a challenge that I think Miyamoto gave to who's the guy who runs this franchise now?
Aonuma.
Aonuma, to make a Zelda game in a year. And he did.
See if it could be done, and he did.
See if it could be done. Yep. This is what we got.
And you didn't even
That
have
explains
to.
all the bugs.
You didn't even have to do a Kickstarter to get.
Oh.
Yeah.
Move
Is that
on,
all,
CJ. Host.
all we can
Come on,
say
host.
about it.
Moving right along.
Are we
Yeah,
done?
I got nothing else.
Yeah, that's all I really played.
That's it. Nothing more.
Yeah.
No
Nothing
Switch
more.
games? Come on, guys.
How far did you get in Majora's Mask then? 3D.
Not very. Not very.
Not very.
Yeah. I haven't even gotten to the first dungeon yet, so.
Yeah. Well,
I
apparently
haven't
there's a
had
lot of
much
stuff that you
time
can
to
do
play.
before that anyway.
Yeah.
A lot of
Yeah.
side quests. This game is kind of filled with ancillary stuff that you can do.
Yes.
So. All right. Greg, do you want to talk about Rogue Legacy at all?
I mean, I don't have much more to say than what I did last week. I've beaten the second boss, beat the forest boss. Although I feel
Good.
like I kind of did that before I was ready to. I just barely made it through that fight. And I don't feel like I'm ready to move on to any of the other areas yet. Man, I'm really, unlike your unadulterated love for that crappy digging game, you're right about Rogue Legacy.
Screw you. But you're right about Rogue Legacy.
Rogue
But
Legacy.
you're right about Rogue Legacy.
Great.
My favorite game of last year.
My God,
I love
so
it. Oh,
good.
friggin'.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, I don't know how adept you've gotten to maneuvering your character, but there are parts in that game where I can just fly through, just running and jumping into pits, and then a quick double jump and a dashward back to land on a platform, and just all sorts of just crazy acrobatics in that game
Yeah.
because it just controls so well.
It's actually
I love it.
I feel exactly the same way about that game as far as control goes that I felt about Shovel Knight. Shovel Knight's controls were
Yeah.
fantastic, and this game
Yes,
is exactly
they
the
are.
same way.
Word up. Yes.
I don't know if the Awesome Games Done Quick session is on YouTube, but if it is, you should watch the one they did for Rogue Legacy because
Oh,
it
really?
is
Yeah.
pretty amazing to watch.
I'll have to do that after I
Okay.
finish the game.
Yeah.
Good stuff. All right, should we go into tweets?
Okay.
Don't see why not.
You like tweets?
Okay.
I've been known to tweet.
78,000 of them, yeah.
Yeah, sure. All right.
I read a few.
Hacker alias Mr. Buttle says,
Can you
"How
say that
often
again?
do you
What's his
pause
name
a
again?
game?" Mr. Buttle.
Interesting. Thought you had something else.
Yes. Says, how often do you pause a game to go online to find out how many levels your game has left? A stunning
I've
question.
done that a few times.
Not many, but way more than I care to admit.
When I was playing Bioshock Infinite, I was going on
Yeah.
like every 15, 20 minutes just hoping that somehow that number went down.
Yes.
I always look to find out what chapter in Uncharted the twist is going to happen. That's going to make me angry. When are the crazy aliens or I'm drinking some weird drug gonna pop up?
If I ever
Exactly.
jump into an older game, I actually will usually go to at some point I'll go to How Long to Beat, and just
Yes.
to get
Yeah,
a
I've done
better
that too.
idea of how big the game's gonna be. Yeah, like that's more what I'll do.
Or maybe I won't read the FAQ, but I will look at the table of contents,
chapters.
see how many chapters it has. That's
Been there.
a common thing. I think a lot of people do that though. I hope a lot of people do that.
Well, some of us are busier than others, but
I always forget how many innings there are in baseball games, so I have to go online and look it up.
million. It feels like a million.
It's so long. All right. Hacker alias Justin Brimley says, are there any visual novel games that you would recommend to people interested in the genre?
Snatcher.
A book.
If you get like $400 to spend.
I think this is where people want us to praise 999 and
I won't.
all that stuff.
I've not played it.
I tried to play it, and it did nothing for me.
No.
Absolutely nothing.
But hey, people who are interested in that genre, I'm sure they would find a lot out of that.
Is this your boss or something, CJ? Why you
What?
999? Like you're just, I don't know.
I heard it's a great
Backpedaling.
game.
There you go. I've heard it's amazing.
I've
People
heard
who
it's good.
Honorable absolutely
You know,
enjoy this game.
But also,
it's not a visual novel, but if you are looking for a fantastic interactive novel, you can't go wrong with Thieves'
God.
Gambit: The Curse of the Black
I knew
Cat.
that was coming.
Available now on iOS, Android, and Steam.
Yeah.
Still
So-
got new Transformers to pay for.
I got $150 worth of Devastator to buy, so go, go, go.
God, that thing was awesome.
That Danganronpa Trigger Happy Havoc
Yeah.
is pretty great too.
I've got to play that because I mean, I know
unique.
you've talked about that game before, but I've seen so many people go on and on. Like I think Kevin Larrabee's really crazy about that game.
Yeah.
There's another
very
guy that I talked to on Twitter who was going on about those two games being like some of his favorite games ever.
Right? I
Pardon?
think I heard Donald Mick on a Nintendo podcast talking about it.
Oh, really? Yeah. Well, there you go. I have to play them.
It's good. It's very good. Hacker alias Warren MSP says, side by side, does the new 3DS XL screen look any sharper than the OG XLs? At GameStop, it seemed to, but I have nothing to compare.
Maybe. I don't know.
I think it does look sharper,
Yeah.
but it may be that my old 3DS XL has dirt and grime on it.
To clean it once in a while.
Maybe I should.
Yeah.
Maybe I should, but I think the new one is sharper. Personally,
I'll go with that.
it may not be. Yeah. What else we got here? Let's do this one for TJ.
Sports tweet coming up.
Hacker alias LTW0303 says, what feature are you most excited about in MLB The Show, and what one are you most disappointed isn't in?
Well, I'm most disappointed that working online probably won't be in, even though they say it'll be better every year. But the new Diamond Dynasty Ultimate Team thing looks pretty good because it used to suck a lot, and now it looks pretty awesome. But you guys should play baseball games, so you guys can talk about this.
No.
There's
That's not happening.
there's even Canadian Greg, there's a Canadian baseball team. CJ, you literally live next to my favorite baseball team.
Yeah.
Phil's never heard of baseball.
I'm actually trying
I was going
to
to write a digital graphic video game for Phil to play of
A
baseball.
visual novel about baseball.
Yeah, I think that'd be great.
I'm going to try to go to a Blue Jays game this summer.
They're good. Baseball is a fun game. Even
It's really not, but I want to go to a game.
It's the best one if you want to look on your phone the whole time because there's nothing
There
going
you-
on most of the time.
There you go, TJ.
There it is.
There you go, TJ. Right
Yeah.
there.
Snow
Tell
bases
me
are good,
I
but
don't
that's
like.
good.
You tell me I don't like sports games. I'll hold up the Game Boy baseball. So,
What
choke
about
on that.
Real deal baseball? Now there's
I have that on here too.
yeah.
See,
I
my
hate
my,
you guys.
my 3DS is loaded with sports games.
Are your bases loaded? With sports?
No.
Are there
No.
Game Gear games on the 3DS eShop?
There were.
Yeah.
There's a couple, but not many.
Seems like that stopped pretty quick.
I wish
Yeah,
World
you
Series
got-
Baseball was on there. That was a good game.
You have Sonic right there, and
The only
I
good
get-
Sonic game.
Really?
what?
We're gonna get into this now.
I don't know
Sonic
if I
was
can go
never
that far.
good.
GG Shinobi.
Yes, it is Shinobi. I also have a Dragon Crystal right there. If you
That's a
like your,
roguelike, isn't it?
it is a roguelike, yes.
Yeah.
Before
Yes,
they were
it
called
is.
roguelikes.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Yeah.
Shinobi 2
Baseball.
was the good one on.
Everybody knows
Game Gear.
that Super Baseball 2020 is the best baseball game ever made.
I can't argue with that. Although Baseball Stars 2 is right up there as well.
That is also a great game.
Baby Baseball Stars.
I'm more of a Base Wars kind of guy.
Base Wars was good.
All right. That's
Was
acceptable.
Konami,
Yeah.
right?
Sure. Sure.
Little League Baseball. I still say Little League Baseball in the NES. Great game.
I still think if I would get a tattoo, it might be of a Base Wars guy.
Really?
Really?
Yeah.
That is extremely nerdy.
That
I
is
figured
hardcore
it would be
nerdy.
something video gamey, so and
What do you got,
sports.
video?
That's a good mix.
It's Mario
Baseball.
Tennis.
Oh,
Oh,
Mario
Tennis.
Baseball.
I was
Mario
more a fan
Ball.
of golf, but Mario Tennis is better. Is good.
NES Open Tournament
I
or NES.
I like Mario Tennis better. I
This
do have the NES.
podcast has
golf.
turned into let's look at what games
Phil's DS,
Phil
yeah.
happens to have on his
Yeah.
3DS. So
That's
let's
right.
move on to this tweet from
I'm proving to TJ that I'm a jock. So he won't beat me up. I don't want him.
Hey, if you can't be an athlete, be an athletic supporter.
There you go.
I get it. I get it.
It's a groin joke.
Yes.
Hacker alias Matt England says, please discuss your opinions of the 3D and the new 3DS and if it is worth upgrading specifically for the tracking 3D.
Why are you putting we did this at the beginning of the show. Why
Yeah.
are you
Well,
rewind an hour and
here's
15
the part
minutes?
of this tweet that I want to zero in on. Is it worth buying the new 3DS for the head tracking 3D alone?
If
Is
you're
it?
somebody who's frustrated by the old 3D not working properly and you want to play your games in 3D, then yes, absolutely. If you don't like the 3D effect, then you don't care, then no, don't buy it.
There you go.
Because the stick sucks.
Uh-oh. I'll be back, maybe.
Bump, ba-dum, ba-dum. All right, hacker alias 311 Phillies
It
says,
should be my kind of question, I think. Unless he's just a fan of Phil.
I don't think so. No.
Poor horses.
With Ocarina, Majora's, and Wind Waker all remade, think we'll ever see HD versions of Twilight Princess and Skyward Sword?
No,
Hmm.
they kind of hold up with their graphic style, don't they?
Yeah, that, and the thing is too, like, maybe Twilight Princess. I would see. I mean, I don't know how that game holds up as far as like
Apparently
sales and
that-
everything goes.
It was like the best-selling Zelda game.
Are you kidding me?
Because it was a Wii launch game.
Oh, it was a launch game. True.
So-
Skyward Sword. I think the problem there is that I guess it all depends on if Nintendo keeps supporting Wii remotes. Because you'd have to you'd have to remake that game from the ground up if you weren't going to let the user have a Wii remote.
That's true. You'd have to
So
cut.
It gets a little more difficult. Yeah. Whereas with Twilight Princess, obviously there was a version that did use a controller, so it's already done, right?
That's true. I feel like with Majora's Mask and even with Twilight Princess, we talk about the Sonic cycle a lot, but I do
Don't
feel
get me
like
started.
a bit of a Zelda cycle, right? Where people dislike a particular Zelda, and then when it's announced that it's coming out again, there seems to be like rejoicing amongst
I'm going to
the
say
community.
right here and right now, if they ever announce a remake of Sonic 2006, you will not see rejoicing.
Right. I said similar to the Sonic cycle, not exactly like it.
So what you're saying is I need a remake of Zelda 2 for everybody to get excited and say, "Oh, I loved Zelda 2."
Actually, I would be interested in seeing that happen only because Miyamoto himself has said that Zelda 2 was a flawed game.
I mean, I don't see him, but I guess.
I loved Zelda 2. I'm just going to say it. I loved Zelda
No.
2. I'm not going to say it's the best Zelda game ever made. I'm not even going to say it's in the top 3, maybe not even the top 5. But I really loved Zelda 2.
Maybe I was just a
Why
fan of
did
the
you
weird
like
offshoot second games. I think I just loved the offshoot second games, like Mario 2, my favorite one. Zelda 2, my favorite one.
was great.
So,
Mario 2 is great.
but then with movies, I'll always love the third one, like Back to the Future 3, best movie ever made. Come on, go back in time, way back.
I like Back to the Future 3 a lot, but I don't think I
First
can
one was the best one.
I don't think I can think of another third movie.
Major League 3 when they go back to the minors.
What about The Matrix?
Major League 3. Wow.
It had Scott Bakula. You gotta love it.
Oh, man. I don't know. There's not many men that can follow Tom Berenger.
But Scott Bakula does it beautifully.
Apparently, Quantum leaps right into that role. No, you know why I like Zelda 2? It's not nearly as bad, or I should say that. It is a pretty bad game. Don't get me wrong.
Exactly.
But it's a bad
game.
Zelda game, which still makes it better than almost everything else out there. Also, it was the first Zelda game I ever played. I didn't play the first one until after I played Zelda 2.
And then you realize the first one just wasn't that good, right?
And
That's
you
how
know
I always
what?
felt.
You gotta put. I always say this. Like, it's the same thing you always hear about Sonic not being a good game. Like, you gotta put everything in the context of when it was released. And when Zelda 2 came out, it wasn't a bad game. It was just a different game. And I didn't have that sort of that base to compare it to. And all I found is I was playing an action game that I really enjoyed, and the castles were cool, and all these different powers, and I loved it. I thought it was great. It was hard, but it was fun.
Yeah, then you go back and play Zelda 1, and you're like, what is this top-down nonsense?
I
do I
never
get
liked
in
Zelda
somewhere?
1 because I didn't. Yeah, by the time I really played it, it was really dated looking.
So we
Yeah.
agree, Zelda 2, the best Zelda they ever made.
I mean, I don't even think I would put The Legend of Zelda or Zelda 2 in my top 5 Zelda games. Like,
I also,
no.
I'm going to blow your mind here. I really enjoyed Castlevania 2.
I do too. I agree with that statement. I like it.
What is this
That game's
question?
all kinds of bullshit. But
What is what question? The question
Great
is,
music.
will they
Which is your
remake?
favorite Back to the Future movie?
yeah,
What's
No,
my
why
favorite
would
Back to
you
the
don't
Future
say-
movie?
3, right?
That's the first one, obviously.
right.
Duh.
Phil and I agree.
Don't be a fool.
Let's move on.
Don't be a fool.
Exactly. We were talking
Yeah.
about the original question was about Twilight Princess and
How did
Skyward
we-
Sword being remade.
Somehow we got onto
Ah.
Zelda 2.
Yeah.
If
If you think it'll ever happen.
Zelda 2, good or bad?
Zelda 2?
Hmm.
Zelda 2 has its flaws, but it's good.
Thank you.
No, it's a terrible
Yeah.
game and should be
CJ doesn't know what
called
he's
out
talking
for
about.
what it is. Yeah.
It's a
All
little
right.
too difficult for its own good, but
Exactly.
it's not a bad game at all.
Hacker Alias, Beard the Movie, says, is Landstalker for the Genesis the best Zelda clone?
I would actually, if you're gonna go Genesis games, I would say probably Crusader of Senti.
It comes up again.
Yeah, Landstalker is good. The problem with Landstalker is that isometric view that they used
Yeah.
didn't play all that nicely with the Genesis controller,
Hmm.
and there were no shadows on anything, so there are a lot of blind jumps in that game.
Yeah.
And I loved that game. I played it through like 3 times, but it's really tough to play nowadays.
I actually enjoyed the Newtopia games on the
Those were really good.
TurboGrafx.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for TurboGrafx, and I believe both of them are on Wii Virtual Console now.
They are, or they
So
were.
you can, yeah. So those were fun.
Okay.
Speaking of Zelda, I have a really quick question. What's the old game that looked like a Zelda 2 clone? I don't know the name. It's funny.
Battle
weird
of
name.
Olympus.
No. It was like
What?
Zamam Zamana.
Scheherazade. Yeah,
No.
Scheherazade.
No.
What?
I just made that. I just made up the noise.
Okay, but are you
but it's
talking about the
probably-
Magic of Scheherazade?
No.
Yeah.
No. You
No
guys are killing
Bunga's
me.
ambition.
It looks exactly like when you're walking through the
No
town of
Edition.
Zelda 2.
Yeah, you're talking about Battle of Olympus.
No, does it
Yeah.
have another name?
The Battle of Olympus.
No.
Yeah.
It's like Zephyroth or something stupid like that.
You're talking about the Battle of Olympus.
Are you talking? Wait, do you mean Faxanadu?
Thank you, sir. That's what
Oh
I'm
my
talking
God,
about.
Okay.
Faxanadu, this is one of my favorite games ever.
Yeah, it's Zelda 2.
It's not Zelda 2 at all. You're nuts.
Everything
Yeah.
is Zelda. Just look at it.
Who
How when you
invited
walk into a door,
you?
you think error is about to be standing there in front of you.
I'm serious. Go look up Battle of Olympus. That's the game
Yeah.
you were talking about.
You're
You don't know
thinking
it yet,
Battle.
but that's the game you were talking about.
Yeah, you're thinking of Battle of Olympus for
Okay.
sure.
Which was also good.
Yeah.
Even spell
Faxanadu.
Ancient
Faxanadu is actually a
Even the color looks like it.
Dragon Slayer game. It's part of the Dragon Slayer series.
It's one of the few good ones.
I had a Dragon Slayer game for again the TurboGrafx CD. It was
Oh.
one of the later releases.
You know, I have that. I've never played it. It's one of
Really?
those ones that I kind of just picked up really cheap when I got my TurboGrafx, and I've never really played it.
Right. It was a fun little. I mean, I don't remember much of it, but I remember enjoying it.
I just remember Faxanadu was one of those games that I picked up totally based on Nintendo Power. Because that was one of the games that they covered, and they had these full maps, and I loved the visual style of that game.
I'll tell you what, if you want to complain about games today being too brown, play Faxanadu.
Holy mackerel.
Well,
you were in a tree.
Yeah, the whole game takes place in a tree, so.
Yeah, but it's got fantastic music, and I love that game. God, I love that game.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what it is? I think all Nintendo games look the same, because Faxanadu looks like Zelda 2 and Legendary Wings.
And Battle of Olympus.
What? Legendary Wings.
TJ is just trolling at this point.
No, I'm looking at the chat.
shooter.
Yeah, when you go into the heads.
Yeah, the side
go,
view.
What the hell are we talking about?
the same bricks. Look at the links I'm sending you guys. It's the same
I'm
brick.
not looking at that link.
Look, it's the same brick.
It's the
Okay,
same
you know what?
brick.
Here.
Also,
Here.
Hudson Soft made some really good games like B-52.
Here. TJ, I am posting a link to a screenshot of Battle of Olympus. Look at that. It's got some sort of crappy filter on it.
Okay, so let's just admit that every game stole from Zelda 2.
Battle of Olympus is friggin' Zelda 2.
It's Zelda 2.
Yeah.
Exactly. Let's talk about how good Zelda 2 was that every single game wanted to steal from it, including Legendary Wing, another phenomenal game.
CJ, why do you let the show get away from you like this all the time? Like, what do you?
Yeah.
What do we
Because he
pay
knows-
you for?
You know why? Because he knows.
Have you
the truth.
guys-
You guys are just mad because I'm the Zelda 2 truther out here.
What do you think of the Wizard of Oz? Judy Garland. What
I saw that
You
one
think
little
that's
guy. He was just hanging around in the back, though.
I think what we're finding out. I think TJ is waiting for us to do a callback to the pathological liar thing about Zelda 2, because there's no way that anybody could think that every NES game is based upon Zelda 2.
That's the trick. That's how they get you.
Oh.
Look at this. This guy looks nothing like Error. He's way too squat.
Ugh.
Does this mean we're done?
Is Zelda 2...
So,
Better question. Is Zelda 2 on the eShop?
Zelda
Yes.
2, yeah.
Well, I have a reason to...
Of course it is.
I have a
Zelda
reason to
2.
charge my 2DS now.
You can buy Zelda 2 on pretty much any Nintendo
gonna-
device at this point.
I wouldn't play it now, TJ. You're going to ruin your memories of the game.
No, it's such a good game. You can jump and then you stab guys downwards and then upwards. You gotta get those. I don't know. What do they even call that? Attribute?
I just remember the laugh every time he died, because I died a lot. No, TJ is so excited about Zelda 2, he left the call.
That's right.
Go download it.
He probably clicked on a link.
See, he's trying to hold me down. You guys heard the truth. That's why I was gone. Not because I clicked a little X up here. You guys, the internet was trying to get me for my thoughts on Zelda 2. I see it.
That's right.
GG,
Terrible.
Shinobi. That's what I always say.
Nah. Nah.
Okay, CJ, you've lost control. Come on.
Yeah. Does this mean the show?
Rein it back in.
Tell me something about voicemails.
You're the host.
Go facing your emotion. Lay all your love on me. Don't go sharing your devotion. All right, and that is our show for this week. Thank you very much for listening. If you have a question or would like to comment on something you heard, you can direct that to @P1Podcast on the Twitter, or you can go to our internet website at player1podcast.com. There you will find all the ways to contact us. You'll find blog entries about Sega
Not that you'd
CD.
want to.
Not that you'd want to. All of Greg Seward's excellent Sega CD blog entries. Yes, thumbs
New
up
one
to
coming
that.
probably in the next week or so.
Yes.
Generation 16 episodes as well.
Hopefully a new one coming in the next week or so.
Nice. Nice.
I paid good money for that.
Yeah, you're one of the backers. You'll be getting it early.
There you go. And a message board where you can discuss this very episode with us and our other listeners. TJ, how do you feel about movies made in the 60s or 70s?
Nope, don't really feel anything about them.
You were
black and white
born in the
controversy.
60s. We make a war with the Vietnamese. We love LSD. We die easily. Can't we just say? Hey, Lovey. So
I'll
what?
say-
What? For my own sake. Do you have a
I
headache?
did not
or a
think
heartbreak?
that
Are you made of broken by the birthday
would
cake?
elicit such discussion. It did. Kevin's comment. But,
Yeah, I know, right?
But there you go. Yeah.
You may be slow on the uptake.
This is going to sound great with the
jeez.
music playing underneath it.
Of course it is.
It's okay.
I'm just gonna.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just
Yeah.
cut everything that Phil's saying.
How
That's how that
dare
goes.
you, sir?
Seriously, you're going to start the
dare.
edit without his track.
Yeah.
Probably
That's
for the best.
He was lagged
If
out.
you'd like to subscribe to the Player One Podcast, you can do so by visiting playeronepodcast.com or by going to the iTunes Music Store. While you're at the iTunes Music Store, you can also visit $1.99.
Cheap.
Gives you one-touch communication with us via the emails, the Twitters, the what have you. You also have all of our episodes ready to stream right to your listening device. And hey, Android cell phone, telephone users, the Player One Podcast iPhone application is available for your listening device as well for that same $1.99.
Also cheap.
You can find that right over there at the Amazon Android Marketplace. We're also on Stitcher. You can like us on Facebook. You can join our Steam group. You can watch archives of our show on the YouTubes. It's at youtube.com/P1 Podcast. You can also watch us live most weeks right there on that YouTube. So follow our Twitter account to find out when we will be broadcasting our next live show. You can head over to Patreon
True.
and patronize us with your money. What's the link to that, Sidge?
Patreon.com/P1 Podcast.
Awesome. After you've thrown a bunch of money at us, go over and throw some money specifically at Stuart. He's got his fantastic Generation 16 series, generation-16.com. He's got his Patreon as well. Throw some money. Money is all he needs.
And then,
And
you got
then,
one more place to visit while you're over there at patreon.com.
Do people
What's
have
that?
any more money by now?
That's Sports Gamer.
I do have a Patreon.
well, I
also.
was gonna let him plug his
kind of had
own.
a theme going. We're guiding the user through the internet, I figure, while they're there.
Okay, well, when you get over there to the Sports Gamer Patreon, you need to undo the two screws, use your stylus to pry the lid off, and then just throw your money into it.
Yep. That's how it
And
works.
seal it back up.
Speaking of that,
Yes.
my brother-in-law has a PlayStation 4, and I guess my niece saw him putting discs in and out. So
Yeah.
what she decided to do was one day while he was in the bathroom, she took his
Sandwich.
wallet
Ooh.
and took his debit card and just
Yeah.
slid it right into the PS4. Trying
Yeah.
to work microtransactions. It worked phenomenally. The PS4, however, did not continue to work after that. And $100 later, he got his debit card back and a functional PS4.
Wow.
Good story.
That's yeah. Yeah.
Microtransactions.
Oh, she thought it was like an 80s arcade game, clearly. You have to, or Dave and Buster's.
Yeah, those 80s arcade machines that took
Took
debit
a lot
cards.
of debit cards. Yeah.
Sure. You just put the money in there.
I just found my Dave & Buster's Gold Rewards card. I am so rich.
Oh, man.
You get all the credits.
I can go get another Star Wars Lego game for my PS2.
All right.
CJ,
Yeah?
thank you
Yes.
for
Sure.
whatever that's worth. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Phil.
No, I appreciate it. Gregory,
Yo.
thank you very much.
You're welcome, Phil.
TJ Lowerman,
Hey, Phil.
special extra double super thanks
Venti
You?
latte.
joining us. Why don't you tell the internet where they can find you?
They can find me pretty much anywhere /SportsGamer.
I meant
Twitter,
home
YouTube.
address.
It's 1165.
Dox yourself. Yeah.
I don't want to get swatted while I'm playing Call of Duty. But yeah, youtube.com/thatsportsgamer. You can go subscribe, like the pillow says.
Jesus.
That was my beautiful wife's Valentine's Day present to me.
That's great.
A
That's pretty great.
YouTube subscribe button.
How come we don't have pillows?
Why
Because
have
you're
you
trying to buy
stuff?
$150 Devastator thing.
Yeah,
True,
you
Phil.
bet I am. You bet I am.
But yeah, you can follow me at thatsportsgamer.com or on twitter.com/thatsportsgamer. Or patreon.com/thatsportsgamer if you have any money left.
Yeah.
Probably not.
After giving to us.
Yeah.
After,
And Greg.
That's how that works. Yeah.
Yeah. And you know what? Peter Molyneux can also probably use a few bucks.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
That's what the 22 cans are for. He puts the money in there.
TJ, are you a pathological liar?
Sometimes.
Okay. Wait, is that the lie?
All right. Let's do this
Next
again next
week?
week.
Sure.
Thanks,
Yeah.
TJ. CJ.
Yes.
PT.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yeah, bye.